So yesterday, as I tend to like to do with my Saturdays off, I went to another rally for freedom in St. Paul and on Summit Avenue, directly in front of the governor's residence. It's not his house, it's his residence. It's where he lives. It's what we pay for, so he can have a secure and safe place. It was the first time that I've shown up and been alarmed. And so what do I mean by alarmed? We were cordoned off. There were barricades set up directly in front of the governor's residence, with a buffer zone in between the two sets of barricades, and law enforcement in the middle of that buffer zone. The streets were blocked off, and we were effectively kept from a peaceful protest. Ultimately, is what was going on. And so I'm gonna show you a really quick video here. Might do a little bit of commentary over it, but I'm gonna show you this video. Notice what Becky said there. Becky said Antifa called to complain about not having their own half of the street, and how law enforcement had really apparently been siding with the Patriot movement, the Hold the Line movement, that has been fighting peacefully, rallying to get the governor to relinquish his stranglehold on the people of Minnesota. So they complained to the St. Paul PD, and they ordered, between St. Paul PD and I want to say the Minnesota State Patrol, which handles security for the governor's mansion for the governor, they ordered the street split, that block split, and you're going to see that here in just a second.
Anywhere on this side of the fence.
This was at about 12:30, 12:45 on Saturday.
But they're not even protesting. They're strictly coming to this protest. And they're like, here, let's give you half the street.
This is what it normally looks like. Excuse the typo. I don't know what NOMRAL is. I'm definitely not NOMRAL. Now, we could go through those barricades if we needed to, but there's law enforcement in there, and we do not want a confrontation with law enforcement. That's not what we're looking for. But watch this. Now I'm going to cut to a video on Facebook. You're going to be warned, language is pretty bad. It's up close, it's right on the front lines. You're going to see the law enforcement phalanx, the contingency of law enforcement that is there to keep Antifa and the Americans, the Patriots, separate, which was probably a good thing for Antifa. There were probably a few more of them than there were of the Patriots, but the Patriots had had enough. And so what you're going to see in this is how volatile the situation was, and all of that because Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Black Bloc, for lack of better terminology, the Black Panthers are involved, the new Black Panthers, the new Black Liberation Army, all of those organizations all kind of knit together. They're Marxists. They hate what the United States stands for. They hate patriotism. They hate anybody who is for the United States. And so we're going to show you that now, a little bit of that video. And once again, be prepared. There's going to be some language. Notice how we're blocked in. Blocked in by barricades, blocked in by Antifa, blocked in by law enforcement. Antifa shows up with shields, and I'm not talking like little garbage can. I mean fabricated shields, large shields, painted shields, decorated shields. They had two commands: shields or swords. Shields are take a defensive position, swords means bum rush. They were ready to go to war, not just with us, excuse me, with the Patriots, but with law enforcement. They were ready to do war. And if you see that sign, it says follow your leader. It's a silhouette sort of sketch of Adolf Hitler blowing his head off.
Look at shields. What do they think's gonna happen here? I know, right? Like, I can't hear her. Are you at?
Not going to show all of this. I'm going to show a little bit more. But I want you to understand what's happening here. If you go back to that video that I showed, that I just made, we're trapped, okay? We're stuck in this morass. The Patriots, the Constitutionalists, we're stuck. We don't want to get into conflict with law enforcement. We're the back the blue people. Remember, we're the back the blue people. We got set up. All right. There is a St. Paul PD commander named Josh Lego. He did this. This isn't based on my testimony. This is based on the testimony of the organizers of the event, people like Becky and Emily and Michelle. Josh Lego, St. Paul commander, St. Paul Police Department commander, and others. I would say specifically commands coming from higher up, say, maybe think the mayor of St. Paul, the governor. They ordered this setup. They knew what they were putting the Patriots and the Constitutionalists into. They knew the situation. We were blocked in. We were separated from our vehicles. There was no quick and safe egress. Once they moved in, we weren't getting out. And if you tried to get out on your own, you were either going to get stopped by law enforcement or you were going to get beat up or attacked by Antifa and Black Lives Matter and the new Black Panthers and the new Black Liberation Army and Black Bloc. They knew what they were doing. Law enforcement played us out into their hands. Do not blame the rank and file. I don't think the rank and file knew that this was going to happen. But I believe the commanders, and I believe the people in charge of the St. Paul administration, can there again say Melvin Carter, the mayor, maybe even the governor, played us into the hands of the Marxist. They did. They played us into the hands of the Marxist. Josh Lego, the commander of the St. Paul PD, needs to be held accountable for the fact that he allowed vehicles to be vandalized, that he allowed us to be put in harm's way, really, by allowing us to be blocked in, cordoned off from any kind of escape. We weren't there to cause a problem. We were peaceful. Antifa came to cause a problem, which is why you're hearing the chants that you're hearing from the Patriots and the Constitutionalists of F Antifa. What are they supposed to do? Commander Josh Lego should be ashamed of himself. He's forgotten his oath. And he's ordering his men and women, along with the State Patrol of Minnesota, are being ordered into harm's way to serve as a buffer between Patriots and Constitutionalists and a group of people that we know are incredibly violent, hateful, and willing to do not just property damage, but physical damage, harm to human beings that they see as evil, because their position is the right position, the Marxist position, the class warfare position. The hateful position are the Marxists. Black Lives Matter is a hate organization. Antifa is a hate organization. And they were allowed to run the streets yesterday. Patriots and Constitutionalists were blocked in. Let's keep watching. How did Antifa get a vehicle on these roads? These roads were closed. How did they get this side street closed or open up to get the vehicle in? They've got a truck in there with a sound system. See that? They're being allowed to run rampant. The Patriots are being pushed back. The Constitutionalists are being pushed back. No one's pushing back on Antifa. No one's pushing back. They're not pushing the Marxists back. They're pushing the Patriots and Constitutionalists back because they know we're not going to fight them, because they know we're not going to argue with them. That's why their backs are to us. That's why their backs are to us. They can turn their backs to us safely because they know we're not going to hurt them. They know we're not going to kill them, but they can't turn their backs to Antifa. Because Antifa are cowards, and they're criminals. And there again, a little bit of language, but that's all right. I can understand their frustration. But here's where the frustration turned.
They boxed us in and we couldn't do shit. And then the fucking captain, walked away like nothing's wrong. You motherfucker.
Car after car after car in that section right there, damaged by Antifa right in front of law enforcement, who, according to people who've had conversations, were basically ordered to keep us separated from any kind of egress and allowed the damage to happen, and didn't hold a single person except for one person who tried to assault some assault happened, and they arrested one person from Antifa. And then later on, they also arrested another person. I don't know if they were associated with the Patriots or Constitutionalists who intentionally knocked a person who was exercising down. That's uncalled for. But Antifa was allowed to go unchecked. They were allowed to run the streets. They set us up, and Commander Josh Lego was part of it. He was part of it. There's no way around it. He was part of it. St. Paul PD needs to take that man and hold him accountable for failing to do his job and for ordering his people into harm's way when he knew what was going to happen. He didn't plan for that, in the sense of he didn't say, you will not go past this point. His commands, his orders, and the captain on the ground allowed Antifa in. There was no way. The Patriots all followed the rules. The Constitutionalists all followed the rules. We did everything that was asked of us. Everything that was asked of us. And as per normal, people in administration in the Twin Cities, the governors, the mayors, the commanders, the police chiefs, allowed Antifa to run riot, literally. Take a look around. See how many reports you can find of the Patriots and the Constitutionalists holding a rally at the city capitol or at the governor's residence on Summit Avenue, and see how many windows have been broken, how much damage has been done. It's a little noisy at times. It's what rallies do. Antifa shows up, and every time they show up, they do damage. Every time they show up, they riot. They threaten. And they're allowed to get away with it. Because men like Governor Walz, Melvin Carter, and the St. Paul Police Administration are terrified of dealing with terrorists. And that's what Antifa is. It's a terrorist organization. Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. Individual statements of Black Lives Matter are understandable. But the organization of Black Lives Matter is a Marxist terrorist organization, period. And the Patriots and the Constitutionalists are the ones that are made the victims. Minnesota, you need to wake up. If you have any sense of traditional value left in you, you need to get out and go do something. You need to start showing up. We need 500, 600 people at every one of these rallies, every time they have one. This is our state. These are our streets. We pay for them. We're the workforce. We're the people who go out and earn the money. Antifa doesn't. They get paid to break things. They get paid to destroy stuff. They get paid to do vandalism. They get paid to hurt people. They're funded by people like Soros. You can call that a conspiracy theory, but all of everything that you need to know is right out there to find. And guys like Commander Josh Lego of the St. Paul PD are culpable for the damage that was done to the vehicles of the Constitutionalists and the Patriots yesterday. Shame on you, Josh Lego. And shame on whoever, Governor Walz, Melvin Carter, ordered the Patriots and the Constitutionalists to be set up. It's disgusting. Sic semper tyrannis.